Welcome to the very first episode of the John Knows. John Knows is, well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to create a whole nother video about what John Knows is and why it's called John Knows and all of that. I like to go and just get started. Today we're going to talk about VPNs and how to create your own VPNs. But first, why would anybody want to create a VPN? Well, you could use services like Nord or Proton or I don't know, they're a dime a dozen. The claim is always they don't keep your data, they don't monitor you, they don't spy on you. But do you really know if they do or don't? I mean, I want to trust everybody and believe that they don't actually do it. So you'd want to create a VPN, your own VPN, based on the idea that your data will stay encrypted all the way to the internet. So that's one. So security, VPNs make it so it's your traffic is more secure. Private, keeps your IP address secret from the rest of the world, so you're connected to that server and then that server's out talking to the world for you, basically. It can help you bypass geo restrictions. You'll be able to see in a minute here when I lower my mug, and you'll see we're on the DigitalOcean webpage, that it has Amsterdam, London, all these different places. So what that means is if I want to appear that I'm coming from Amsterdam, I can do that with a VPN, my own VPN service. Now I realize Nord you can do all that too, but remember, part of the reason that we're doing it this way is so that way we control the data as it goes to the internet, not some third-party company. So I'm sure you've heard of different types of VPNs. Obviously, VPN stands for Virtual Private Network. I'm sure you've heard of like OpenVPN, IPsec VPN, PPTP VPN, L2 VPN, or L2TP VPN. There's all sorts of different ones out there. We're going to focus on WireGuard. WireGuard, in my opinion, is by far one of the best, simplest to use, probably one of the securest VPNs out there. So it really hits a trifecta of simplicity, security, speed. I mean, it's like the perfect VPN. If you've set up OpenVPN, and I'm not knocking OpenVPN, I use OpenVPN and other SSL VPNs. It's great. It is good. It is fast. When you run it in UDP mode, it's extremely fast. No problems with it at all. But WireGuard is by far the easiest VPN to set up, and it takes just very little Linux knowledge to do it. So, with that being said, I'm gonna pop my face off, or just pop it in the corner here, and we're going to go in and maybe, yeah, got it. We're gonna go in and we're gonna buy a droplet. DigitalOcean has these things called droplets. Droplets are essentially VPSs, or virtual private servers, or VPS. I use Linux on my desktop, but you can use whatever you like. If you use Windows, I suggest using PuTTY. PuTTY's a great terminal emulator. Like I said, you're going to need very minimal amount of Linux knowledge to do this and make this work, and even secure the thing. So the first thing you'll notice when I come into the DigitalOcean is you'll see that it's set up for a $32 a month server. I am not going to use a $32 a month server. I am going to use a server that's much less than $32. So I'm going to use Debian, but these instructions work for any Debian-based distribution. So Ubuntu and Debian, the steps will be, if not the exact same, almost the same. I am going to select the $4 a month server because I don't need anything fancy. We use SSH keys. I call this VPN 1. I'm going to call it John Knows. Got it. All right. I'm not going to do anything. You can get IPv6 here, but I mean, yeah, we're not going to do that this time. Maybe another time we'll do an episode with IPv6 and doing a VPN that way, but we're not even going to focus on that. So I'm going to go ahead and create the droplet, but I am going to scoot this off the screen for just a moment because it literally shows my all my other droplets and their IPs, and I don't want to let that out there. So I'm going to hit create, and then I'm going to open it back up. I don't want to bring it back in here. Okay. Takes just a minute for it to create the droplet. And then another minute for it to actually boot it, because if I try it now, I probably won't be able to get in. Takes a minute just to boot. And the very first thing that we do when we get the VPS up and going is we're actually we'll upgrade it and then reboot it. There's a SSH vulnerability out right now that that affects basically every SSH that's out there, and it's a race condition thing where you can execute code as root. So we're gonna, and it did say with 64-bit CPUs, it's less likely to be exploited, but it's still, the chance is still out there. This takes just a second. And you can see in the list right at the top, SSH server, SFTP server. So just goes to show you. Now, $4 server isn't usually too fast. A lot of times if I have to do a compilation or something, I'll actually create a swap file for more RAM, because it will use all the RAM and then kill the compilation process. But it's a mixed bag, because you give up a bunch of hard disk space, like 4 gigs of hard disk space, to get 4 more gigs of RAM. Whatever you're compiling can't be too big either. Like, this is really, the $4 server is really just about just trying to fit as best we can in whatever we can into that environment. Luckily, with apt and stuff, we don't have that problem. Almost done. Anyway, keep the local, and then I'll reboot this here as soon as it's done. One other thing we'll do after we reboot is we lock SSH down better than how it comes from DigitalOcean. Because we shouldn't be SSHing in as root anyways. So we're going to fix that. And this is what I do basically on every single server instance that I do from DigitalOcean. User add -s bin bash -m John, password John, apt install sudo, already on. I know that you can do this via group add, but this works. So as long as you don't screw the file up. John. Get my authorized keys out of here. I see one key I shouldn't be using. Yep. Okay. Then we always test this. To make sure we can get in. And we can sudo to root. Got it. Okay. So now we'll finish locking it down the rest of the way. We're not using IPv6 on here, but I normally always set this back to inet. Permit root login. No. No password authentication. PAM. We don't have X11, so no need to do a lot of forwarding. And by default, I shut off the SFTP server. Okay, and then just PSEX. See that? Just restarted. So, and what's interesting here is when you restart SSH, you don't lose your session connection because SSH kills basically hups and does the new people to connect, not the old. So I'm still technically connected under the old stuff. Okay, WireGuard. Simple. So far, so good. It's already there. WG gen key piped T server underscore private dot key pipe WG pub key 2 server underscore public dot key. So what just happened? We generated a private key, which I'm going to show you because I'm not going to use this after the video anyways. So this is our private key. This is the key I keep to myself. I don't share it with anyone. It just lives on the server. Anybody who wants to connect to me has to use this public this public key. Easy. And so now we have to edit the WireGuard configuration file. And when I edit, I mean create. Address is the address space I want to hand out. Or that's the address that WG0 is going to get. Now this is all UDP, so keep that in mind. Some firewalls block unknown traffic. I mean, they shouldn't block UDP, but they do. A lot of people do. Yeah. So we're going to do post up equals IP tables minus A forward minus I %I minus J except semicolon IP tables minus TNAT minus A post routing minus O ETH0. We'll look at that here in just a second. And we're going to masquerade as that. Post down equals IP tables minus A. No, sorry, we got to delete the rule. Minus I minus j accept IP tables minus tnat minus d post routing minus o eth0 minus j masquerade. Alright, so what do we just do there? So when the interface comes up, when WG0 comes up, it's going to run this command. It's going to run IP tables minus a forward minus I WG0 without us able to replace it with minus j accept. Then it's also going to run IP tables minus tnat minus a post routing minus o eth0 masquerade. So what does that do? That lets us forward traffic from the interface WG0 to Ethernet 0 and B Ethernet 0, so masquerade as Ethernet 0. So that's what creates the NAT. Post down just basically removes the rules. Simple. Simple as easy. So we got a peer section here. We do public key equals, and I'm not going to fill that in yet because we're gonna generate that here in just a second. Allowed IPs equals 10.0.0.2/32. Seems easy enough. We're not done yet. I'm just gonna comment these out. Well, no, I'm not. Okay. So now I need to edit the sysctl.conf, and then I'm going to do the NAT or allow for forwarding. Okay. Good. Okay. So that enables it. Now we need to. Now I'm going to move over to my machine. I'm going to generate. Same thing. So let's see. I'm just going to do it in my home directory. I'm going to make a directory called WireGuard. Alright, WG key gen space T client underscore private dot key WG pub key to client underscore public dot key. What did I do wrong? Yeah. Gen key, not key gen. Boom. So I got my client public key right there. So I'm going to go back to my server. Go ahead and drop my public key here. Start the service. NetTools isn't by default anymore, so yeah. So you see I've got this WG0 interface now. And if I do I got a forward policy, so that all looks good. And it was ETH0 as the external interface. So all that looks pretty good. So now I'm good here, so now I'm going to go back to my client config, and I'm going to edit the config. I'm going to edit this wg0.conf file, and I'm going to kind of do the same thing. Interface, private key, address, DNS, peer, public key, endpoint, allowed IPs. I cannot spell today. Persistent keep alive equals 21 seconds. Alright, so let's fill in the rest of this. Public, we'll get our private key first. Okay. Oh, that's my private key. Goes up here. Public key comes from the server. Let's see. I'm gonna go back. Public key, paste. Endpoint is this. :51820. Okay, so if I did everything right, up. Oops, that's right. Sudo. New files first file. WG. I wonder if I got to do the whole path here. You know what? So I'm just going to copy it to the home directory. Well, I'll see if I got a Windows machine. Okay, so one error, but it looks like I got my IP address. Oh, it looks like I need to install the Resolve Comp. Part of the thing with it being lightweight is that it does depend on a few utilities on your machine. Okay. There we go. That's stat minus rn. WG0. Okay. I got WG0, which is what I was supposed to get, because I got that in here on the server. Oh, I lost my server connection because hopefully... Yeah, so there's my server. You can see that IPv6 is still working. You can run sysctl to disable, and in fact I probably would do that. What is the exact syntax for that? Let's see. And the reason that we do that is we don't want to leak out IPv6. It's not in there, so let's do this. First we'll go to whatismyip.com, and you'll see that my IPv4 is DigitalOcean. Yep, my ISP is DigitalOcean. But let's get Yeah. So this is what we actually want to run. And we'll do that in the post up. So, gotta do it sudo. So now, if I do curl, you'll see it only does v6. But, you know, in the end, I do actually want, I do actually want my IPv6 when I'm not connected. Same as we did before. Post up equals post down equals. Okay. Okay, so let's do it again. So now if I do exclamation curl, exclamation just reruns the command. So it might take a minute here to actually get my v6 address back, because that's just the nature of IPv6. Yeah, it might take a minute, but you can see though when it disables it now. So now when I do a curl, okay, let's do a speed test. Maybe. I'm sitting behind Starlink. So, I mean, for VPN, a lot of times I can pull 300 via Starlink. So maybe half the speed. I don't know. It's cloudy today too. It just got done raining. Usually I can get about 30 megabit up. So yeah, works good, nice and fast. It's your own VPN service. Oh, let's see if I got a Windows server on here. I don't know if I do or not. Or Windows machine. We can run it in Windows. Let's see, system. I do not. Let's just check VirtualBox just in case. But I think I deleted them the other day. Nada. Okay. Well, let's just do this. It's super simple. Nothing amazing. Do the installer, put the WG0 file on there, and you're good to go. So, I mean, it's about as simple as it can get. Fortunately, like I said, I don't have a Windows. I wonder how long it takes to install Windows. Windows 10. There's Windows 10. 10. Yeah. Whatever. Finish. Close. Cannot be found. Alright. I think I went through and kind of got rid of, cleaned up the hard drive a little while ago. So unfortunately there'll be no unveiling of Windows today, but like I said, you've done the hard part by getting the Windows, or by getting the Linux machine done. So yeah, you'll see that I should be connected from... Oh, I think I took it down, didn't I? Yeah. And notice how fast that connects. I mean, it's dang near instantaneous. What I like to do too is this is on my machine, obviously. So let's just nail a ping up to the ones. And watch the ping times adjust. Man, it's literally that fast. Same way on the bay down. It's that fast. Well, I hope you enjoyed the first episode of John Knows. Again, I don't know everything, but I'd like to start putting out there the things that I've spent over the last 25 years learning, so other people can enjoy and grow themselves. So have a good day, and we'll talk to you later.